So today I'm going to very quickly, very briefly explain the difference between unschooling and deschooling. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to start with deschooling. I grew up going to public school, so everything that I knew to be true about school was based on my experience at public school. And when you are starting to homeschool your children, you quickly find out that homeschooling is completely different than public school, and it should be. That's the beauty of it. It's supposed to be different. So you need to allow it to be different. Oftentimes, as new homeschool parents, we tend to try to recreate the public school system within our home. You picture sitting at a desk. You picture a teacher up front by a chalkboard or a whiteboard. You have textbooks. Everybody's sitting quietly. You have to ask to go to the bathroom. That is not homeschool. And very quickly, usually what happens is we find out that that's not working so well. Our kids aren't responding to it the way that we wanted them to. We're getting stressed out and it isn't sustainable. The public school system works because it's managing hundreds of children, and it has to do certain things in order to make that work. With homeschooling, you're managing your children, and you don't need to do all the things that public school does. Even if you try it, I don't know, maybe you're the anomaly and that works for you, but every single homeschool family I've met, including myself, that does not work. You need to deschool yourself. If your children have never attended school, they won't need to go through that process, but you as the homeschool parent will. What is this process? You need to take some time. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be 6 months, where you aren't actively doing any schoolwork. You're just observing your children, letting them play, and watching how learning actually happens on its own. You'll be amazed when you just step back and watch your kids at how much they're learning every single day, and you aren't sitting there with a textbook dictating something to them. So deschooling is the process of deconstructing those ideas so that you and your child, if necessary, can learn that there are other ways of learning that don't require a replica of the traditional school setting. Now, unschooling is something completely different. My dog just kicked my tripod. Unschooling is actually a homeschooling method. Unschooling is completely different than what I thought it was going to be. We aren't unschoolers. I would not call myself that. However, there are elements of unschooling that I do incorporate into our family. I do incorporate the unschooling mentality into our days in the sense where I encourage my children to have a lot of free time. I encourage them to dive deeper into their interests and their passions, and I don't overschedule them. I believe in the power of play, and it is so important to let your kids play, especially when they're young. So I recently read a book on unschooling, and it pleasantly surprised me. I had this preconceived idea of what I thought unschooling was, and I was very wrong. My dog is rolling around on the floor right now and making all kinds of background noise. Are you done? What unschooling actually is letting go of any sort of organized structure and just allowing your children to be in charge of their learning. Now, what does that mean? I mean, as a parent, that might sound scary, or you might even be thinking that sounds irresponsible. But if you're going to be an unschooling parent, you actually have a lot of responsibility in the sense that you don't have a curriculum telling you what to do. You don't have a book or any certain resource directing your day. As an unschooling parent, it would be your responsibility to really pay close attention to your kids, listen to the things that they talk about, watch what they're interested in, and then you are going to take the steps necessary to make sure that they can develop those interests and passions and then learn along the way. Obviously, as children grow and change, so do their interests. And so as your children get older, you're going to just keep helping them develop their interests and passions and keep encouraging them to try new things. and then you are allowing the learning to take place organically versus choosing a curriculum on a specific topic. So that is what unschooling is. I actually think that there's a lot of good in unschooling. It really boils down to personality type. And that would be the personality type of the children, the personality type of the parents. It needs to be the right fit for you. Again, for me, I wouldn't say that we unschool. I definitely do use a fair bit of curriculum, but even some unschool families do use curriculum. The difference is that they use the curriculum for their needs. They don't feel like they have to do this curriculum just because it's in front of them. They'll use curriculum if there's a specific thing that they want to learn more about. They'll utilize a book or something for that. So that is the difference between deschooling and unschooling. I know that I was very confused about this when I first started homeschooling and I was hearing all these terms being thrown around. I wish that I had had somebody to explain that to me. So I hope this has helped you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Click subscribe and I'll see you next time.